Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. These are my League 1 predictions. I've just recorded my League 2 predictions just then, but I need to do my League 1 predictions. As I always say, this is a predictions video, so if I put your team where if I put your team somewhere where you don't want them to be, then just share your thoughts, just share your predictions. We'll come back to these predictions at the end of the season. But without further ado, let us get into these predictions. And in the first team we are going to talk about, in alphabetical order, is Barnsley. Barnsley are an interesting one, and they're always the team that bounce in between the Championship and League One. But correct me if I'm wrong, they have been in the Premier League before, at the start of the Premier League's existence. I think Barnsley have got to be up there and pushing for the playoffs, and I have got them in the playoffs. Barnsley are in at 5th place for me. The next team, Birmingham City. Birmingham City, again, well, they got relegated last season, and they are one of the favourites to come back up. And have I got Birmingham in my top 2? Yes, I have. I have got them in automatics in 3rd place. Share your thoughts, Birmingham City fans. Next up, Blackpool. Blackpool, well, I watched them last night at the Tranmere Rovers against Blackpool match. They have that former Everton man, Matthew Pennington. They also have the former Tranmere Rovers man, young player of the season for League 2, Rob Apter. Blackpool certainly need to be looking up the table. They have had their financial difficulties, but I have got Blackpool in 9th position. Share your thoughts, Blackpool fans. Next up, Bolton Wanderers, another team who have, another team who have struggled to bounce back from League One. Another team who have been in the Premier League and deserve to be in the Championship, have a Championship squad. I have Bolton Wanderers in 3rd position. Next up, Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers, a team who, or you look at them and you think mid-table in League 1, and that is where I have got them. I have got Bristol Rovers in 17th place. Next up, Burton Albion. Burton Albion are in my relegation zone. 23rd place for Burton Albion. Next up, Cambridge United. Another team who are in my relegation zone. Cambridge United, I think, will take up that final relegation spot in 21st place. Next up, Charlton Athletic. I have got Charlton another team who you think of and you think should be pushing for playoffs, but as I say, they've had their fair share of financial difficulties and they see themselves in a difficult position. Charlton Athletic, then, I have got them in, I've got Charlton Athletic where have I got Charlton? 15th. Share your thoughts. Next up then, Crawley Town. I think it's fairly safe to predict them to go down, to get relegated. I've got Crawley Town in my 24th position. Next up then, let us talk about Exeter City, another team who will be flirting with the drop. I've got Exeter City in 19th position. Share your thoughts. Next up then, we have Huddersfield Town, a team who were in the Premier League, and I have watched in the Premier League before. And it's interesting, isn't it? They were, a couple of seasons ago, they were in the playoffs final in the Championship, but now they have been relegated and in League One. But I do think they will bounce back in second place. Next up then, Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient I have in 18th position. I have got the O's in 18th. Share your thoughts. Next up, Lincoln City. Where have I got Lincoln City? I have got them in 13th place. And again, I'm nothing against Lincoln City. I watched them at Goodison Park a few years ago now in an FA Cup match. But I have nothing against Lincoln City, as I say. Next up, Mansfield Town. Where have I got Mansfield Town? Well, they are newly promoted. I've got Mansfield Town in my top 10. 10th place for Mansfield Town. Next up, Northampton Town. Where have I got Northampton Town? I've got them in 20th and just avoiding the drop because I think this season the League One is getting stronger than ever. Next up then, after Northampton Town, we have Peterborough United, another team who seemed to bounce in between the Premier League and Championship, but when they got up to the Championship, they didn't seem to have enough to be in the Championship. I have them just missing out on the playoffs then, in 7th position for Peterborough United. Next up, Reading. I have Reading in 12th place, and as I say, they have had their fair share of difficulties behind the scenes. The owner hasn't been great, but we have to wait and see with Reading. Next up, Rotherham. I have Rotherham in my top 6th place for Rotherham. They are relegated and I have Steve Evans at the wheel. Shrewsbury Town, and I have got them to finish inside my bottom 4. Shrewsbury Town in 22nd place. Next up then, we have Stevenage. Stevenage are a team who I think will finish in 16th. They were in amongst the playoffs last season, but they fell off since Steve Evans left the building. And look, I think, I think it'll be difficult for them to keep it up. Next up, Stockport County. They are newly promoted again, and I think they will finish in 8th place around the playoffs. The next team is Wigan Athletic. Wigan, I think, will finish in 14th. Again, they've had their fair share of issues off the pitch. And this is just a steadying season. A season where they need to steady the ship. Next up, Wrexham. They've done all they can. I mean, they've got promoted twice. Can they get promoted 3 times in a row? Well, I'm saying they certainly have a chance because we've got them in 4th place. Share your thoughts, Wrexham fans. And last but not least, I have Wycombe Wanderers. Where have I got Wycombe Wanderers? I have them in 11th place. Now, certainly, League One fans, do share your thoughts on them predictions. I am just someone who loves football, loves talking about football. If you are new and like League One content, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will be talking about League One more often next season, as well as League 2, League 1, the Championship and the Premier League, because I just love football. I just love England. What else is there to say, really? Apart from that, I hope everyone has a good afternoon, and I will speak to you in the next one for Championship and Premier League predictions. Speak to you in a bit.